Good evening, everyone. Episode 15. No Limits, Mike and Stace.
15.
15. What's that?
That's my usual.
So, I guess it wasn't the last time we were chatting because we had our impromptu walk back from Deadwood.
Yes.
But the time before that, we finally listened back to the podcast, and yes, that was the fire that just popped in the background. We are home.
Yay.
So we're home. So as per our usual, we have a fire going.
Saturday night, fire going.
Yep. Oh,
Birds in the
log falling
background.
out of the fire. Just get that back in there.
Welcome back.
There we go. Yep. But we were listening back. We were going to get the little twerp from his grandmother's. And we were listening back to our podcast that we hadn't listened to.
Mm-hmm.
And Stacy's microphone died.
It did.
At one point.
It did.
On Riding the West. So if she sounds a little distant, because she was.
Yeah.
She was on the other side of the bed.
With a dead microphone, apparently.
With a dead microphone. Chatting it up. But you could hear, it was just,
Yeah.
you could tell that you were at a distance.
Right, right.
So,
These things happen.
They do. So today's topic, they asked me a few minutes ago, what are we going to discuss? Well, I'll tell you what we're going to discuss.
All right.
But we
lay
do,
it on me.
Before we discuss that,
Oh, my
we do
goodness.
have to discuss the past 2 days.
Yes, let's.
But the topic for this evening
Mm-hmm.
is going to be what I told you, the ear piercing of Trump.
Oh, yes.
Trump got his gauge.
Yeah, he did.
But anyhow, it is no laughing matter, but the fact that,
No, certainly not.
It's very much not. And we'll discuss that
We'll get into it.
in a few, but so the past 2 days, we were 1,500 miles from home, roughly.
1,500 long miles.
1,500 miles from home.
Yep.
So we get up Thursday morning. We're on the road by 8 a.m., which is 9 a.m. in Iowa, because we're losing an hour.
Mm-hmm. That's where we were headed.
And that's where we're heading for the evening. So we hauled ass across South Dakota, down South Dakota into Iowa. And it's the whole concept of an 80-mile-an-hour speed limit's cool, but it beats you up.
Well, I'm sure it's cool in a car.
It definitely beats you up.
Or maybe even
it's
in
loud.
a truck, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
First time, earplugs.
first time, yep, you put your earplugs in. So we hauled ass, chewed up some miles. We got to, I think we got in our room, it was 9:39 in the evening in Iowa.
This would have been, so this would have been not last night, the night prior.
Yeah, last night we were in our own bed.
Yikes.
Which was not a turd. However, the previous night's bed, as you put it, was a turd. So
The actual whole hotel
was a turd.
there wasn't even a freaking elevator.
No, and we were on.
What?
We need, when we travel with the bike, we need to start requesting first floor
Yeah.
because we always have, stuff to carry.
Yeah.
And it's not we don't have wheelie bags or anything like that.
True,
we need to
true.
start requesting first floor.
We certainly can do that.
The best thing about the hotel was the coffee situation.
The coffee
Yes,
situation?
they had the bold, regular.
Literally, that's the only thing they had going for them. And the
Yeah.
kid that checked us in was nice.
Yeah, he was friendly.
He was friendly. So, I mean, that's a bonus, especially since we were tired. It was a long day.
Yep.
Yeah.
So then yesterday was a repeat. We left at
Carbon
7:30.
coffee.
And it was 8:30 where we were heading, which was home.
Home.
We got rerouted slightly. I was a little displeased with Google Maps, Android Auto. because it gives you a couple different routes. And one of the routes takes you to Chicago, which I'm fucking driving through Chicago. Every time I've ever driven through Chicago, I had to put my feet down. So we weren't having that again. So I chose an alternate route, which was a little bit longer, but you didn't go through Chicago.
Mm-mm.
And I was using the Android Auto because real-time traffic and all that jazz.
Sure.
I don't know, an hour in, it's like, hey, let me reroute you through fucking Chicago. Luckily, the Harley GPS came through. It's very user-friendly. It just doesn't have real-time traffic. And that's why I was using the Android Auto instead of the Harley GPS. But I switched over to the Harley GPS, plugged in home, said avoid toll roads because I knew going right by Chicago was the toll road, and boom, it kept us on the route that we needed to go.
Mm-hmm.
The only issue we had was our the ramp was closed in Indianapolis to get on the 70, so we had to go through town a little bit. That took some time. Then we hit some rush hour traffic. That took a little bit of time.
We got to see the raceway.
Yes, we drove right past, and they were doing some qualifying or testing or something.
Not a fan of NASCAR, however, that was really cool.
Yeah, I thought it was cool.
So, I mean, try to turn a positive into a negative. At least we got to see that.
Yeah, and then we trucked on home. Once we got on this side of Columbus, it was smooth sailing with traffic. And then the quickest route home for us, we ended up coming up 79 to 376. If you're familiar with Western Pennsylvania, then you take 376 and you head towards Pittsburgh. You go through the Fort Pitt tunnels. And what happens when you get out of Fort Pitt tunnels? Boom. The city smacks you in the face.
The most beautiful city.
Unlike any other.
That I have yet to see.
Pirate game was all lit up for a pirate game. I think they won. I thought I saw somebody say that they had won.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the PNC Park was all lit up.
Go Pirates.
And we just cruised on home. Then we got home at 10. Actually, exactly at 10.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody shed a few tears when we parked the bike.
Yeah.
Not me.
But it was it was a fabulous trip. Loved it. Really, really enjoyed it. But it's good to be home. It's good to be home.
It is good to be home.
I mean, it's cool to see like other places and whatnot, but Pennsylvania girl here. Also cool to be home.
It's good to be home. It's good to be home. Yeah, blow it out your ass. But the Beast did not let us down.
No.
The Beast, she ran great the entire time. Can't say enough. I'm very much pleased that I put the new skins on right before we left, and the new wheel bearings, because she ran like a champ. Got a lot of bugs. I'm going to work on that tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. A little bit of pre-treat.
Yep, I ordered a gallon of the Griots Garage Bug and Smudge Remover.
Oh, I can't wait to see. We're going to take a before and an after.
And I've used this stuff before. I'm very pleased. All the Griots products, I'm very pleased with. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to record a review of it. Because we've got almost 5,000 miles worth of bugs.
Mm-hmm.
We wanted to wash the bike on 2 separate occasions, but then, shit happened and we weren't able to.
Sure.
So then it was like, well, fuck it. We're just gonna,
roll with it.
Leave it until we get home. And oh my gosh, the front of the Beast. Oh, jeez. So I'm gonna take a little video and handle that tomorrow.
And the weather situation on the way home, oh my gosh, we could not have ordered better weather. Perfect.
Yeah.
It was very comfortable. The sun was shining. It was beautiful both days. Yeah, very fortunate.
The first day, it was like, what? It couldn't have got higher than 80.
No. And there was a nice breeze, so it wasn't too hot. Wasn't too cold. It literally perfect. I'm very thankful for
the
that.
last stop each time before we made it to our destination, we put our jackets on. So that worked out perfect.
I'm also going to interject here. Did I not say on the one that we were listening to, whenever we were looking for the bighorn sheep, that I would fill everybody in if we did end up seeing?
Yes.
And as predicted, the answer to that is no.
That would be a negative.
Yes.
We did not see.
And I looked. I'm telling you, I looked.
Very hard. You looked very hard.
So there's that. Just wanted to throw that out there. Typically we listen back and we're able to fill in, but it was a busy couple weeks and we didn't have the opportunity to listen back. So just to follow up on that.
So I don't even remember which day it was, or even for that matter, where we were at. And you got a message from your mom. Trump was shot.
Yes. And literally that's all the message said. Trump was shot.
Yep.
And I was like, wait, what?
I remember we were riding through Yellowstone.
Yes, we were. I remember exactly where we were.
Service
I was,
was sketchy.
Yeah. And I'm like, is he okay?
So
like, what happened?
We get towards... We were staying in West Yellowstone, which is at the west entrance of Yellowstone. I kept checking on Android Auto to see when we had service. And once we had service, I went to Sirius XM in the news, and I went on to Fox News. And boom, as soon as we put it on, man, we heard.
They played us literally the snippet of that when it happened.
So we got to hear that, got to hear that, he was okay and all that. And then when we got back to the room, we started watching some of the coverage of it. And being from, so we live in Western Pennsylvania. Butler, we ride through Butler on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Very regular basis. Now, I know that this kid was from Bethel Park, which we're familiar with Bethel Park area as well. It's 20, 25 minutes from here.
Sure.
So it's not far either, however you want to say it. But we do spend, a lot of time riding through Butler. Not now, we ain't going to.
No, it'll be a minute.
Because there's going to be the feds all up in that place now. With that, so we got to see the video and see. And as soon as I was watching it, so when we were watching it on TV, we still didn't exactly know what happened. I said he was shot in the ear. And you could tell just by his reaction. And then like an hour later, they come out, oh, Trump was shot in the ear. Oh, no shit, he was shot in the ear. And you could see he fucking grabbed his ear.
Right.
I mean, come on now.
When something like that happens, I think it's like real time. It's shocking. Like it takes a little bit for, news reporters and everything to get that together,
Well, then maybe I should report the news.
Maybe you should.
Because
get up on that. Let's
I had it immediately. Tom's leaving.
I know.
WTAE.
I know. We'll miss you, Tom.
I should take his place reporting the news.
You should.
But all seriousness.
Yeah. Why don't you get on back?
Oh, jeez. So we were watching it, and the funny thing is, we started out watching CNN. So we're watching the CNN coverage of it, and the initial coverage of it was good. I have zero issues with the initial coverage of it. They were covering it how it should have been covered.
And so to clarify, so CNN would be more of like the Democratic point of view.
Yes.
Fox News is more the Republican.
Yes.
Okay.
So we watched a little, probably an hour and a half of CNN. And we actually switched over. I don't know if you caught this, but we switched over right after, and I don't know who she was. But then the Dem side came out because this woman was
CNN, your Dem is showing.
fight, fight, fight is probably not what you want to be saying right now.
Why not?
Right. I think they were referring to,
Right. I know exactly what you're saying, but
and all of that. And I'm like, okay, now we're going to go to Fox News.
Yeah.
And we switched
over
to
the real
Fox
story.
News.
What our point of view is.
They were trying. They were trying to be bipartisan, but they couldn't do it.
No.
Couldn't do it.
Mm-mm.
This bitch had to say something.
Yeah.
So fight, fight, fight was the exact right thing. Yeah. So we listened to a couple of podcasts on it.
Mm-hmm.
One of the podcasts was Ben Shapiro. Is that his name?
Yes.
Ben. So we listened to him, and then the Chad and Sherry one. We listened to that. So those were interesting, to say the least. Everyone's talking about, everyone on the news that we've seen since then, has been talking about, how this kid got up on there, and there's video. Okay. Yes, we're back in town.
Yeah, we are. He says hello.
There's video and audio of people actually telling the Secret Service that there's somebody on the roof with a gun.
And what we've heard is typically they do scout the entire perimeter, right? They scout the entire situation to be sure that something like this doesn't happen. You mean to tell me that some 20-year-old kid planned that all out? I call bullshit. And there's more to it than that. There's a hell of a lot more to it than that.
Yes, and what I find difficult to believe, so when we were watching CNN, actually, they were saying that somebody they had on there was a former Secret Service agent, and they were saying that the rules of engagement are very similar to the military. Do not fire until fired upon.
Right.
I find that difficult to believe, because you have somebody with a rifle and a scope on a building.
Pointed at.
That isn't one of your people.
Pointed at somebody. Clearly it's malicious.
Yeah.
Handle it.
It wasn't any of...
Yeah, I know.
And you didn't have to shoot and kill him.
Shoot him in the knee or something. Shoot him in the like in the shoulder.
Yes, you could.
You've got a sniper on this kid.
Right, you have snipers on
Shoot the gun
kid.
out of his hand. Come on now.
Something. So
scary ass situation this world that we're in.
That rubs
right
me the wrong way.
Yeah. Something is not right with that at all. I call complete bullshit.
And I try not to get into the conspiracy aspect.
That is true.
I really try not to.
I conspiracy theorize the whole thing. I go
do.
from all aspects of it. And
you do.
Yeah.
You do. But then people start defending, the director of the Secret Service and the whole DEI movement and all of that, because you got some people blaming DEI, people are defending it. And then I saw something, and I'll be honest, I did not Zuckerberg fact check this, but somebody I know had posted basically saying, I don't remember what it was verbatim, but it was that Creepy Joe is so DEI friendly that all of his Secret Service agents are white males.
Interesting.
Yes, that's very interesting. Now I'm going to have to pay attention.
Yeah.
Now I have to pay attention, because I don't know if that's the case or not.
Because Trump's, clearly we all saw it on TV.
The woman didn't know how to put her gun back in her holster.
She was tiny. She was like 5'2". How is she supposed to protect him? Trump's tall, isn't he? Isn't he like 6'2" or 6'3"? Like, how in the world?
He's a big guy.
And there were a couple of women that were, and listen, it is what like, I'm not against that at all. But how are you supposed to be protecting somebody who's a foot taller than you? Come on now. There's so much to that just doesn't add up. And all I have to say about it is, thank God that he turned his head when he did, and it ended, how it did in his favor, of course. Thoughts and prayers to the family and folks that it didn't turn out great, which is a tragedy in itself,
Yeah, I'm assuming that, like, I don't know, I don't know which shot it was that hit Trump, but it wasn't the first.
Well, he got off like 6 or 7 pops before we heard the final pop, which I assume did the kid in.
So it seemed like he's been watching too many sniper movies where you fire the first shot to gauge the wind and everything, and then you pop off the rest because you're able to make adjustments. And yeah, that's true, but
and he doesn't have any military anything background, right?
Right. So,
and that isn't something that's making us go, Butler, PA. I don't know. There's just way too many things that I don't know.
Yeah.
Nice fat paycheck for him. Maybe somebody came and spent a little bit of time with him, took him to the shooting range. We got you, buddy.
His family, they got to move.
Yeah.
They have to move.
They got to get the hell out of Dodge.
Oh, yeah.
I hope they already got the hell out of Dodge.
Yeah, good. As far as we know, they have, nothing to do with it.
Real quick, change your name.
They need
I guess
to do
if
something.
you moved far enough away.
Yeah.
I got someplace you could move. It's real desolate. Not a soul would even be around to care who you were.
Between Rapid City, South Dakota, and Sioux Falls, South Dakota, maybe?
That's right. Or perhaps that little area that we went through between, wherever it was that we went to get to, from Colorado to Yellowstone. There's some nice desolate areas. Not even a Dollar General in sight. There you go, friends. Pack up.
Yeah, we didn't see a Dollar General until we got to South Dakota.
Yeah.
So from the time we left, we didn't see.
Take your pick.
We did
anywhere in between any of that.
And I forgot to tell. I got to tell Bob. But when we were coming home, we stopped. So when we met Bob and Sue for the ride out.
Oh yeah.
We stopped in Ohio, I think, or West Virginia. In Ohio for gas. Our first official fuel up after hitting the road. And on the way back, our last official fill up before heading home ended up being at the same exact place.
Yeah.
As soon as we pulled off the exit, I was like, I'll be damned. This is the same place as we stopped. So, yep, full circle.
Yeah.
So, but anyhow, so.
Off topic.
Yep, a little bit off topic. So, back to that whole ordeal. So I'm curious to see, what comes of it.
I'm curious.
Now you got the FBI.
Yeah,
investigating it. And we gotta watch what we say.
Real quick question: aren't they on the same payroll there, the governmental payroll?
Yeah.
Period. Mike. Drop. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
They and we also don't find it funny. Again, another conspiracy theory. That, like, what was it, a day after this happened, all 34 charges that were filed against him dropped. It is like they are running this guy, Trump, through the ringer. And you know what they're actually doing? Because, let's rewind, I don't know how many months ago, but when you and I first started talking about it, and before the debate even, and I'm like, to be honest with you, I'm certainly...
Nope. Perp sees something. Maybe that's his girlfriend.
I'm certainly not going to vote blue. So I wasn't even sure if I was going to vote. Not like we all know, because we've heard me talk about Trump and whatnot, but there needs to be something different. As we've discussed, I feel like RFK would be a great fit. Never going to happen. So therefore, he's going to take votes away from either blue or red. But what they, quotes, blue Dems, are doing is they have just pushed me, and I'm sure many other people, just from people on Facebook, they have pushed me more towards Trump than I probably was 4 years ago. 8 years ago.
Well, 4 years ago,
seriously,
it was, can't the man just quit running his mouth?
Right.
Because
he does say things that are brash and inappropriate. I agree with that. I do.
But then, all this shit started happening.
How much more are you going to do to him?
And he made the comment, they're coming after you, and I'm the one standing in between.
And you know what? He has never he has never been more right about anything
That's
ever.
the most truthful thing that he's ever said in his life.
Because what they're actually, when I say they, I refer to the Dems, what they're actually doing is they're trying to diversify us. They're trying to pull us apart. And they're trying to wreak havoc. There's so many things that the BLM movement, that was a whole ass thing. What other things have they done? There's so many things. The Hamas thing. Like, they just plant all these things and they try to create havoc. But then they come out and say, well, we're trying to unify. The fuck you are. Who are you trying to unify? Because us normal people, that certainly isn't unifying us.
Right.
I mean, yeah, so it just really, does it get me going. But anyways, thank you, Democrats, because you have made my choice come November super simple. I'm going to go to work that day. I'm going to come home, I'm going to eat dinner, and I'm going to march my happy ass in there, and I'm going to vote for Donald J. Trump. You're welcome.
And J.D. Vance.
Yep. Let's, not forget to mention that he is military vet.
Mm-hmm. Marine?
The Marine.
Yep.
So, and he
was a Trump critic.
What's he, a millennial? Because he's 39?
Years. I believe he is.
So there you go. So I think that will also be beneficial to have a younger person on the other side of it, just to kind of, because he's living it. Mm-hmm. He's up and coming with his life as well. So, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What we'll need to do, as it gets closer, we need to do some podcasts, encouraging people to get off their asses and actually go out and do what they say they're going to do, because it's a damn shame the amount of people that actually don't.
Well, it's as per what we discussed before as well, as much as we ride around, like even home, like even local, we go a few hours, sometimes we're going to West Virginia, sometimes we're going to Ohio. We do ride outside of PA, and you see all these, F Joe Biden flags, and, don't blame me, I voted for Trump. Did you? Because if you did, where was that red wave? Everybody assumed that we were all going to do it for them. Let me tell you. I mean, I'm going to go. I'm going to cast my vote, as are you, as are a lot of people that we know. But the people that are like, oh, well, he's going to win. Were you going to vote? Well, no. Go
it is your
vote.
goddamn civic duty to vote.
I don't care who you're voting for. But you need to go, because every one of us, every one of our voices matter. Or, again, I have a conspiracy theory regarding 4 years ago. We're not going to get into that. But if enough people really do go vote, how are they going to justify that?
Well,
how are they going to cover it up or hide it?
I see a lot of signs, even at Trump's rally, where he was shot. Too big to rig. And that's the thing.
Thank you. That's the whole thing. Just go. Go before work. Go after work. Go during your lunch break. There's no excuse. We work all day that day, and then we go. There is no excuse. Go fucking vote.
All these motherfuckers that we run around seeing their Trump signs out in the country need to get up off their asses and actually go vote.
That's what I'm saying.
I know.
You took the effort to hang that flag. Do something about it.
Yep. Exactly.
Come on now.
Because
we need something different in this country.
If you are a registered Republican and you decide not to vote, in my eyes, you voted for them.
I agree. And I mean, God bless RFK. He may have his day one day, but this just isn't it. Take a seat.
Right.
Look at what they're what are they trying to hide? What does he know that they don't want us to know? Because why? Look, they've tried to impeach him. They've tried to blame the January 6th, was it considered an insurrection, on him. Mm-hmm. Which we've also heard him, a tweet that he put out that
that was censored.
That was censored. It was deleted.
That was telling people minutes after it happened.
That it began.
To not do it.
Right, to not do it and to protest peacefully.
Yes.
You know, one person can't control what everybody else does. No. And who's to say that those weren't paid people as well? I'm just saying.
Yep.
Who's to say that most of those people, I'm sure some of them weren't, but who's to say that most of them weren't paid off for it to look like this huge ass thing? Right? I'm just saying.
And the fact that, you know, people are on social media, you know, wishing that the shooter was a better shot.
That's disgusting.
It is.
Where is
That's
your
where we're at.
Where is your humanity?
We are so far out of fucking whack. It's pathetic.
I'm just sitting here shaking my head because, honest to God,
but that's where we're
at. Some people that have said that have been teachers, you need to resign right now because I'm going to tell you right now, if you were teaching my kid, the shit would hit the fan, friend, because I would be in your fucking classroom sitting in front of you and we would be having a chat if you said something like that. And I'd be going up as far as I could go to have your job. Because where's your empathy? That is a human being. So no matter your disgust for whatever, that how he runs the country or whatever, you have no business saying something like that. Where's your fucking humanity? Jesus Christ.
Throne took it away.
Throne did take it away, and it's sickening. Yep. It's absolutely sickening.
It is.
But again, back to what I was saying. So they tried to impeach him. They tried to do the January 6th. And then they held him up for as long as they possibly could with these 34 counts of complete horse shit that, of course, after the day that this happened, they dropped it all. What a waste of resources. What? All I'm saying is, for everybody to stop and just think about what I'm saying for a minute. What don't they want us to know? What are they hiding?
There's everything that happens is a direct result of them trying to deflect your attention elsewhere. And it doesn't matter Democrat or Republican, because Republicans do it as well.
Of course.
Let me put it this way. All politicians do it.
Sure.
It's all about deflecting your attention so that they can,
because they've sold their soul as soon as they get in there. We've discussed
however,
that as well.
This, an assassination attempt. Last one, I believe, was Ronald Reagan.
It's 2024. It's 2024. How in the world? And this is something else I'm going to bring up. Now I'm fired up.
This is why I sprung it on you.
Remember when we were also listening to the podcast with Dr. Phil and RFK, mm-hmm. and he said that they refused to provide him.
No, not they. Because the person that authorizes that is Creepy Joe.
Oh.
Creepy Joe refuses
to authorize.
Mm-hmm.
It would be the Secret Service for him as well.
Yes.
And apparently, now this isn't something that I've researched and whatnot, but this is just from what I've gathered, from what I've heard. And even something that he said, actually. And aren't they all get Secret Service people to look out for them while they're running. And he has to pay for his own.
Yes.
Because he feels threatened.
And Creepy Joe Doesn't have the decency to authorize it.
He doesn't have the decency to authorize that, but shall we discuss that I also saw something on Facebook, and of course as soon as I see something, and I don't know it, I go ahead and look it up. Something about his daughter's diaries? Oh, this motherfucker's a perv. Shocking, I know. But apparently, he has done some not so great things with his own goddamn kid. This is somebody who you people...
He's a fragile old man, so it's fine.
Okay.
You know, it's fine. He's senile.
So this is someone, you people, meaning the Dems. You know.
And the Republicans that didn't vote for a Republican.
Correct. Yeah. So, but that gets... that gets overlooked. It's okay. So it's kind of like, do as I say, not as I do. There's nothing to see here. Okay, well, apparently there is something to see there. That's why all this shit is going on. And let me just tell you, friends, too much shit is going on for us not to be questioning it now.
Agreed.
Trumpy 2024.
You got that right.
I'll be your mouth, Trumpy. I'll speak for you. Wherever, whenever, I got you. Not so sure that I'll wear like a MAGA hat or a shirt, but I'm behind you, friend, for sure. And you can 100% guarantee, when I go in there in November, I will be voting for Trumpy.
Yep, same here. I will be as well. So, everybody else, get off your asses, get out and vote come November.
Yeah.
You have
because
to. It is your civic duty.
It's your duty.
To get out there and vote. And we will continuously say this time and time again. We know most of our friends vote.
Yes. America needs a change. America, we need to come back to 9/12. And do you know exactly what I'm talking about,
yes,
right? When 9/11 happened, we were the most unified that I have ever seen America in my life.
Mm-hmm. You were.
Let's go back to 9/12, where we are one. It does not matter whether you're Republican, whether you're Democrat. You're a human being. You are an American citizen. And we need to start looking out for each other and caring for each other and quit letting them separate us and diversify shit.
And one of the biggest problems, and you actually said it without saying it, is when you were saying it didn't matter if you were a Democrat or a Republican. That's what it's come to.
For some,
two sides.
You're right. And the thing of it is that
there's only two sides.
And you're right.
And that's a huge issue.
And I have found myself, because typically I like to think of myself as pretty open-minded. In fact, I'm very open-minded. And I kind of just feel like live and let live. Like, you do you, be a good person. You're kind to me, I'm going to be kind to you regardless. Whatever. Do you know what I'm saying? But then I found myself there for a little bit getting worked up about stuff. Just because of like commercials that I would see or something on TV, and I literally had to take a step back and be like, whoa, this isn't you. Don't let them do this to you, right? But I have enough wherewithal to go ahead and do that and separate myself from that and come back to, no, everybody deserves equality.
Mm-hmm.
So, but if we think about that for a minute, the fact that as open-minded as I am and whatnot, and just be for them that to have been able to get into my head like that, and just imagine what it's doing to other folks.
Yeah.
We all need to kind of just take a step back.
Very self-reflective of you, Stace.
Well, thank you very much. Occasionally I do have those moments. No, seriously though, yeah. We need to unify.
We do.
Like we've never done before. We all need to come back together. And to be honest with you, is who was saying like what isn't a democracy where it's for the people, by the people?
Yes.
Just stand up there with my hat. But seriously, It really needs to be.
You never read the Declaration of Independence?
Come on, now we discussed where my education came from. Calling yourself over there.
I will say, I was a little disappointed. We didn't get to hear all of Trump's speech,
Right.
Republican National Convention, because he was late because of fucking Hulk Hogan and Dana White and the Graham, because it's not Billy Graham, it's the other Graham now.
I was listening to something else. I don't know.
Billy Graham, the TV minister guy.
No, not a clue.
You don't remember Billy Graham?
No. I'll have to Google him. I don't know.
You have to Google him.
Yeah.
And don't Google superstar Billy Graham because that's different. He was a wrestler too.
I can't even right now.
But anyhow,
Yeah.
so he was late getting on, but we heard a pretty good portion of it after we got checked in because we turned the TV on. And I was a little disappointed because he said that he had rewrote his whole speech and he was going to focus on unity. And, he opened up the speech, saying, that we need to be unified, and he accepts Republican nomination. And then it was the same old shit. The only difference was he instead of referring to Biden, and he said that he would have once, and he did. I mean, he said his name twice, actually, but he said he would once. He was referring to this administration. So instead of saying, that's really no different.
It's not.
I mean,
Essentially, you're just using
I
a
was a little
different
disappointed
terminology.
in that because I expected, because, people don't change unless there's a life-altering event that changes people.
I would consider that pretty damn life-altering.
Yes. And it really didn't change him.
I'm going to come to the defense.
And I'm like, come on, man.
I'm coming to the defense.
Try and unify this fucking country, please.
He literally has been under the most pressure.
But that's
and he was shot at for crying out loud.
Right, but that's from the Democrat administration, not the Democratic people, not the people. He needs to try.
The dumb people support that shit.
Some of them, yes. There's some of them are, but I don't know. I really want somebody to try and unify this country.
And I agree with you. However, right, we each play a role on this planet. And I feel like if each one of us take a little bit of responsibility for the way that things go, one person shouldn't be telling us how we all live our lives.
I agree.
Each one of us needs to think about it, be kind to one another. It doesn't matter what party.
But you have to lead by example.
You do.
You can't argue with that one.
I can't argue with that one, but I'm not necessarily a follower. So
it doesn't matter. You still lead by example.
I don't necessarily agree with everything that he says, and
because you can't.
I don't agree with anything that the other one says.
Do as I say, not as I do.
Well, that's what this one in here now is doing.
Right.
Right.
That's a problem.
Well, it's a real problem because you do have too many people who are followers and listen. Mask wearing motherfuckers. Just saying. Like the woman we saw running across the street in a park, wide open air. The air's way cleaner than it, and there she is with a mask on.
They do have clean air out there in the West.
As said that woman. That was her thing. She was so gassed up about it. She was like, "Our air here is real clean." I'm like, "No doubt." I don't see it.
Smells great. Smells fresh.
Smells real fresh.
As you would say, it smells fresh.
It does.
It doesn't make for the air polluted sunsets that we have here.
Oh my word! No, it does not.
It is fresh smelling out there. So,
but anyway, I'm just really frustrated about the whole situation, to be honest. And I really feel like we as American people, each need to start playing a part in this whole.
Yes, agreed.
What would you even call that? Political situation.
Democracy.
Thank you.
Damn it.
Just fucking be kind.
What was it? Make a PB.
Don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick. Make you a PBJ. I mean, have you ever seen somebody unhappy that's eating a PBJ?
No. They might not be able to talk.
Well, they won't be, but that's even better. There you go.
Remember Wilbur, Mr. Ed, the horse that could talk?
Well, you're a little bit older than me, so that's before my time.
Rumor has it they put peanut butter in his mouth, and that's why the horse looked like he could talk.
Yeah.
Mr. Ed.
So,
on the old comment, I think that means it's about time to wrap it up.
Wrap it up.
So, we'll come back at you probably next weekend.
Yeah, we'll be back on our regular schedule once a week. Discuss the weekly goings on.
So, with that, like I say, signing off.
Everybody have a good week. Bye.